Hey guys, it's Victoria, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about Magic the Gathering. So, Magic the Gathering is one of my favorite things in the entire world, but so many people don't really know what it is. Like, they've heard of it, but they don't really know. So I'm going to bring you guys into the wonderful world of Magic the Gathering. It's amazing. It's got strategy and fantasy, and it's just overall a lot of fun. Now, I also have a couple of videos up on my channel where I play a couple games of Magic the Gathering, so if you're curious and you want to see what a game looks like, go check them out. But anyway, what is Magic the Gathering? So, it is a trading card game where you play the role of a planeswalker. Now, a planeswalker is like a really powerful wizard. In the game, you are fighting against other players or other planeswalkers, and the cards you have in your deck that you make are like all the weapons in your arsenal. The cards are pretty much all the spells you know and all the creatures that you have the ability to summon to help you in your fight. So each person builds a deck, and then you just find an opponent and your deck battles their deck. In most games, you start with 20 life and your goal is just to use your creatures and spells to bring their life down to 0. Lately, the Magic the Gathering community has been growing so much. There are even rumors that they are making a Magic the Gathering movie that is going to be kind of Lord of the Rings proportions. So I am so excited for that. There is so much lore. Like, it's not just a card game. There is so much lore behind each of the characters in the game, and like, they have so many options on what to make a movie on. It has a lot of potential to be amazing. It can never get boring. New sets of cards are coming out like every month, and the game is constantly changing and new ideas are constantly being introduced. Like, in new sets, they always have a bunch of new ideas. There's just so many different ways to play the game that it can never ever get boring. Like, you can play with your friends, or you can go to a card shop. Almost any card shop has something called Friday Night Magic, where people just show up and it's kind of like a tournament style, and so everybody chips in a little bit of money and you can win that in the end, or you can just, like, I've won dice by going there before. It's an amazing way to meet new people. And if you're not interested in going out to play it with people, that's totally fine. You can play Magic online too. I don't do that personally because I really like the face-to-face interaction. I have made so many of my friends through Magic the Gathering. I'd say 75% of the people I'm friends with I've met by, like, playing Magic with them, either at a card shop or I'll just see them in my school's cafeteria with their decks out, and I'll be like, no way, you like Magic? What are you playing? And then, you know, just friendship comes from that almost always. It's a great way to connect with people. There are a bunch of different formats that people play Magic the Gathering in, so this can be confusing for a player starting out. You have to know what type of format you want to play, because if you have a deck of one type and your opponent has a deck of another type, it's going to be difficult for you two to play against each other. So you gotta know exactly what you want and who you can play against that with. So, a very common type of deck is called Standard. Now, this is one of the more competitive ways to play Magic. So, a Standard deck must have at least 60 cards in it. You can have as many as you want, but there has to be at least 60. Most people tend to stick around 60 because they have very specific cards that they want to draw, so they don't want to fill up a giant deck because they want to make sure that they get to those good cards. Now, I used to play Standard, that was all I played, but I've kind of gotten away from that because I found that Standard games can be extremely competitive, and I'm not interested in that. I want to play Magic for the fun of it. Plus, Standard is one of the more expensive ways to play because you are only allowed to use cards from the very newest sets. And this means that every time a new set comes out, you have to spend a bunch of money on new cards in order to stay up to date. Standard is nice because it keeps the game fresh because you're constantly having new cards that you can use in your decks. Modern is a little bit easier of a way to play Magic, in my opinion. You still have a deck of 60 cards, but the cards in this deck can be from the core set 8th edition and Mirrodin all the way up to today. So you have a lot more options and you're not continually having to change what cards you can use. My favorite format of Magic the Gathering is Commander. The rules for building your Magic the Gathering Commander deck are a little bit more complicated, but it's more fun. The games last a lot longer because instead of 20 life, you start at 40 life. And typically, people who play Commander are more there just to have fun. They don't take the rules so seriously. It's not like Silent and like, pass to you, pass to you, pass to you. Like, you can have fun conversations and you're there just to enjoy the time. So that's the difference between your Standard and Commander players. Not always, but that's what I found normally is the case. So in a Commander deck, you have 100 cards. And you also have, one of these cards is what you call your Commander, which you can pick almost any legendary creature to be your Commander. There's a couple of rules, a couple of Planeswalkers can be your Commander. But the point is, this card is not shuffled into your deck and you can play it at any point in the game. The mana cost to play this card can differ, but I'm not going to get into all the rules of that right now. Now another unique thing is in Standard, your deck, one specific card, you can have up to 4 copies of it in your deck, so you're more likely to draw it. But in Commander, every single one of your cards has to be completely unique. You can't have any card repeats. Another thing is, in Standard, you can have any color combination of cards you want. If you've got the lands to cast those color of spells, then you can put them in your deck. But in Commander, you're only allowed to play cards that are the same color as the Commander you chose. There is also Legacy, which allows cards from all legal sets, but a couple of the cards in Legacy are banned just for power level reasons. So that's fun. You've got Vintage, which I'm not too familiar with, so I'm not going to try explaining it to you. It's something about the Power 9 rule. I don't know. Don't let this freak you out. It's really not as confusing as it sounds. So hopefully you're still interested in Magic at this point of the video. Because you should be. It's a really great game. Now, the biggest problem I experienced when I tried to get into Magic was I didn't know what cards to buy. There's so many different things out there. There's booster packs, intro packs, clash packs, fat packs, booster boxes. You can buy individual cards. It's really overwhelming just to know what is what and what you want. So first you have to understand that each card has a rarity. So these range from common, uncommon, rare, and mythic rare. Now each card also has a foil version, which is just kind of like a shiny version of the card, and these just increase the price a little bit more. So now I'm going to explain each of the different groups of cards you can buy. If you get a booster pack, you will get 10 commons, 3 uncommons, and 1 rare or mythic rare card. Now, you could also get an intro pack, which just contains an already pre-constructed 60 card deck, 2 booster packs, and an instruction manual on how to play, which can be helpful. A clash pack contains 2 60 card decks so that you can play with a friend even if they don't have a deck. In this, you will also receive like a little manual guide thing on how to combine these 2 decks if you want into having one more powerful deck in case you only need 1 deck. Now, a fat pack contains 9 booster packs, 80 basic lands, and 2 deck boxes, along with a couple of other little things. So finally, a booster box is when you buy an entire box of booster packs from the store. This is so much fun to do, but it can get kind of pricey. So a booster box will have 36 booster packs inside of it. Now, you're like, okay, this is great, I know what they are, but what do I buy? Personally, I would recommend buying an intro pack because it's just like it sounds like. It's a deck that's made specifically for beginners, and it's fairly cheap. So now you're probably wondering, well, okay, great, but where can I get this? You'd be surprised by how many places sell Magic the Gathering cards. You can get them at like any department store. I go to Walmart all the time, and so whenever I'm there, I just stop. One of the aisles in the front of the store typically has like all your trading cards, like Pokemon and stuff, and they've got a Magic the Gathering section. Or of course, you could just type in to Google and search for local card shops or comic store or something. Barnes & Noble sells them. A lot of entertainment stores do. They're all over. You just really have to keep your eyes open. I mean, you can trade cards with your friends and all that. I don't do that too much. When I get a card, I typically like to keep it because I like having a huge library of cards. But yeah, a lot of people trade. You got like the binders and stuff, and you can be like, hey, I'm looking for one of these cards. What do you have that I want? Or you can just go to local card shops or game shops and you can trade in your cards, buy new ones. A lot of people are afraid to get into Magic the Gathering because they hear that it's really expensive and they don't want to start a hobby that's going to cost them a fortune. Now, this is nothing like Warhammer, so don't worry. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, you don't have to. Although I do warn you, it is very easy to get addicted. I came into this with the thought, like, okay, I'll buy some cheap cards for a deck. I won't take it too seriously. But now here I am, every birthday and Christmas, I'm just asking people only for Magic the Gathering cards. And I spent too much money on Magic. I have. It's addicting, and you can easily get obsessed with this, but you don't need to. If you want to keep it cheap and you have a strong willpower, you can totally do that. What I have found is a really good deal is to get something called a Deck Builder's Toolkit. You get like 100 commons and uncommons with it too, and you get some really good staple cards. Like, for instance, every blue deck will have 4 Preordains, and every green deck will have like 3 or 4 Cultivates, and these are really good cards just to have. It's cheap, and it's a great way to build a decent deck. Now, if you end up getting a starter deck, it's going to be sufficient for playing against other people, but you can't expect it to be super high quality. Like, if you go against someone who's put a lot of money into their Magic the Gathering deck, and a lot of people try and find combos of cards that are really overpowered, so you can't expect like a starter deck that you buy to be able to hold up against some of these decks. But if you're just playing casually, it's completely perfect. If you don't care about going into tournaments and your friends are chill about the rules, then it's great. You can play with any card in your collection, and you can save a bunch of money. Good luck with your Magic the Gathering! I hope it goes well for you, and I hope this video didn't confuse you too much or turn you off from the thought of buying Magic cards. Because trust me, it is an amazing thing to get into. Just the community of players are always so great. If you enjoy thinking and strategy, it's one of the best games to play because there's just so much you can do when building your deck. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a lot of fun playing Magic. If this video helped you out, please like, subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any further questions. I will definitely try and explain them. And if you want to learn more, I will be posting another video about how to play a game of Magic and another video explaining what all the information on a card means. So, have a great day. Bye. Thank you for watching.